We have a moment of silence for former police officer Sheila Nation, who passed away on June 14th, and also World War II veteran Bill Hoehn, who passed away on June 12th. He was 99 years old. Thank you. Glorious God, you promised to open doors of blessing and abundance for your people. We ask you would work mightily in us today. Come upon us and cause us to have a productive meeting. Lead each one of us so we can make fruitful contributions at this time. Enable us to think and strategize in ways that will achieve great results. Purify our thoughts and motives so that each one of us will enter this meeting desiring the good of others and the pleasure of your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oath of office for the two firefighters. Roll call.
Doug Brown, Megan Bryant,
Here.
Larry Bud,
Here.
Steve Dorsones,
Present.
Kathy Driscoll, Jim Olive,
Here.
Crystal Teddy,
Here.
Jeremy Wilson.
6 Aldermen were present except for Brown and Driscoll. Now, the oath of office for firefighters Colin, Ayers, and Kurt Austin Hoehn.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter according to the best of your ability? Thank you.
Have to school them about your shady boss.
All aboard.
Youth of the month. Qualified for the state cross country sophomore and junior years. Qualified for state and track 2 times in the 4x800 and also in the 1600. Named all conference in both cross country and track. Junior years set new school records in both the 1600 and the 800. And his biggest award just came recently, is awarded the 2022 Male Runner of the Year for sportsmanship and for his improvements. Councilman and audience, I'd like to present you Owen Morgan, if he'd step forward. To really excel in any one subject, a young person must demonstrate, in addition to a great deal of natural ability, an outstanding spirit of knowledge, dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. And whereas Owen Morgan excelled in the sports of cross country and track by setting new school records and qualified for the state multiple times in both sports, and was named all conference in both sports, and was awarded the 2022 Male Runner of the Year. And now, therefore, I, Bruce Berry, Mayor of the City of Taylorville, do hereby proclaim June 19, 2023 as Owen Morgan Day. All right, we have cake for everyone in my conference room, so thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Count. Lisa's got the camera if you want to say something when you go by.
Thanks, 5 minutes. Prepared.
Motion to approve the omnibus designation.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Ollie, questions or comments, roll call.
Megan Bryant?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Steve Dorsones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Teddy?
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Minutes of the regular meeting held June 5th, 2023. Minutes of the Water Environmental Committee meeting held June 8th, 2023. Minutes of the Lake and Airport Committee meeting held June 8th, 2023. Minutes of the Ordinance Committee meeting held June 15th, 2023. And minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held June 15th, 2023. Motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Alderman Bryant, second.
Second.
Alderman Olive, questions or comments? Roll call.
Megan Bryant?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Steve Dorsones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Teddy?
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Downtown Taylorville updates. Mr. Craigs, Mr. Skinner.
Thank you, Mayor. We just wanted to connect with the council and let you know that WCIA has awarded or appointed our town of the month for the month of July. So they're coming in here on July 2nd, and they're going to start doing a story every single day, Monday through Friday, like a personal interest story. One of them is going to be on Chief over here about his background and where he came from and everything he's done for the department. And so there's going to be several personal public interest stories during the course of the week. Then on Friday, the 7th, they're doing a live event from 4 to 7 downtown. And so our car show is that night, which is great. It'll kind of fit right in. But they asked us to make it something more than just the car show, so that they can see more aspects of Taylorville. So we have Chief coming down with the K9 crew, right?
Yes.
Do the demo. And you've got the drug trailer coming down too, I think,
Yes.
right? And then we need the fire department to come down and participate. I need to call you guys and see if you would possibly.
Afterthought. Sitting in front of you.
So, anyway, if you guys could show up with some piece of equipment if you wanted to down there, and maybe one of the big trucks like I just took a picture of out here. Your big truck's gonna go in on a promo that I just took a shot of, so if that makes you feel any better.
Might get a new fire truck.
We've got the Palms coming down, the cheerleaders coming down. We tried to get the marching band, but they're in between directors right now, so we're seeing if possibly the municipal band could come down. Maybe they would set up on the square and do that too. So a few different aspects that we're trying to make it more than just the car show. A couple more food trucks coming in, and in conjunction with that,
Yes. Also, Bill Kennedy, they're gonna do a little thing on him too. From 5 o'clock till about 7:30 at night on Friday, they're gonna be live the whole time, right here in Taylorville. So they're gonna do segments with Nesters right there doing eating food live, giving them a plug, all the restaurants in town a plug. They're gonna be going to different spots here on the square, different spots that may be close by. You can't go too far because it's remote, so they gotta have the connectivity on that. Another thing we wanted to ask is we would like to continue moving forward in July and moving forward to the rest of the year, blocking off the north side of the square. We, putting cones out so we can park more cars. Usually we just left that empty, and it works out really good. If there was an ambulance come through there, we don't block off the whole lane. Whenever we're parking cars, we can stop everybody, and the lane's always open. So there's not going to be any traffic control problems or anything like that. We've done this enough times, we kind of realize when we need to stop somebody, when we don't. Traffic can get through there. If we have an ambulance go through, whatever, it's never going to be a problem. So we're asking for permission moving forward to block off the north side too. We block off 3 sides of the square now with the cones on the inside. We'd like to block off just the north side as well moving forward if we could, please. And in that, like I said, I drew up a little map. This is from when we had the crews around on one of the bigger days. Like I said, this is gonna be a pretty big event. They normally don't happen like this. They came to small town Taylorville about a month ago and said, this is what we're gonna do, it's all for free. We ain't charging you nothing, we're promoting the town as a whole. So it's not about the car crews. It's about what Taylorville has to offer as a whole, is what we're doing. So in that, we're just asking to block up the north side too, moving forward. And we'd like to also put out a couple cones on the outside of the square. So the VFW riders are gonna come up too as well. And they're gonna have about 30 bikes, and they're gonna do a presentation on them, do live with them, and talk about their organization and what they do. And Nestor's gonna, like I said, he's gonna have his tent out. I wanna be able to put his tent up that day too. And the afternoon, he don't have to put it up until about 2 o'clock. He said it takes him 30 minutes to put it up, no big deal. It's not gonna be out in the street or anything. It's not gonna be blocking traffic or anything like that. So we want to put a couple cones there, some on the west side for the Harley riders to park there. It's shaded there, so they're in their full leather, so I figured it'd be a little cooler there. That's the reason why I'm asking. Outside, I don't think there's really any other parking, so I'm just asking for permission to do that. And then everything else is, we won't need them. We're going to lift the cones after 8:30, trying to keep the county from parking there. Also, we got a meeting with the county board tomorrow night. We're going to also talk to them about being able to get those folks to park in our parking lot that we own where Trinity Motors used to be at, and maybe shuttle those folks back and forth, somehow work with them to try to get that set up where we can get them parking there every car cruise, so that we can still do business up there. The city can do business up on the courthouse. We can also have businesses be able to do that too, because that's late night, Friday night shopping for any business that wants to partake in that. So we're just trying to work together with the county and the city to be able to make this event even that much more productive, so to speak, is what we're at.
Question. I think this is all great. I love it. And I know you probably know because, well, of course Mike isn't here. Well, anyway, there was an issue with the cones because I had 3 different complaints from business owners about the cones being out at too early on Friday, blocking their spaces for people to park. And when I asked about it, it was brought to my attention that there's no permit. There's no permit with set times like we generally require from any, you know, like for anything that goes on in town. There's can we block the square from 6 to 8, you know, and there's nothing like that. So have we gotten that permit in place with the times set for cones to be out?
Not that I'm aware of, but the reason we're not so early is to stop the courthouse before the parking there in the morning.
But that's not fair to our fair to our businesses downtown
and
either.
We've made an agreement. We had some issues with some of the hairstylists on the north side of the square.
Right.
And we're gonna remove those cones
After
during the
8:30.
morning after
Right.
8:30 or 9, so allow parking there, and then put the cones back there about 1 o'clock.
That's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to work with the county. We're gonna make a flyer that talks to them about, on cruise night, we would like for you guys to park in these parking spots. We'll highlight them in red so they show. I'll be up there to help them park or get them back up to work, you know, by shuttling back and forth with a golf cart. So we're trying to alleviate that. So businesses, I'm with you, I own 3 businesses up on the square myself, and it does cause a problem. So we're trying to alleviate that so that everybody, the hairstylist people, can get their hair done. You know, anybody wants to come up there, if you got your day off and you want to do shopping, you can park on the square on the outside all day long, whatever it takes for you to do your shopping. So we're trying to work towards that. The only time we put cones out is in 6:30 in the morning on Friday morning, and I only put them on the inside lanes only. I don't put anything on the outside.
And see, that therein lies the problem though, is because then the courthouse people park on the outside.
Right.
And then there's no parking
Exactly.
for,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not gonna lie, there's a few of them that came, and there was one particular that said something to me, and I made the comment back, you know, I grew up with a business owner mother, and you never parked in front of your own
Yes, ma'am.
salon or your own store because that's for your customers, and yet this business owner parks smack in front. So I was like, well, if you're that worried about it, you wouldn't be parking there. But we need to have this permit in place, just like we would have for anybody else. I mean, it's nothing, like I said, I think this is great, but the proper channels need to be gone through, just like we make everybody else go through. So I would like to see that permit, you know.
And what would you suggest the times be?
Well, I think that's for them to decide and then bring to us, just like everybody else.
6:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night.
Right, and that seems to be what you guys, that's what we think, we can work around it a little bit by moving the cones at certain times once the courthouse employees, and, you know, I don't know why the courthouse employees don't park off the square one day a month.
Because they make $13.50 an hour, I wouldn't walk for that either.
Well, again, like I said, if we can shuttle them, like we're talking
Shuttle,
about,
yeah.
we're gonna get a shuttle, we're gonna, it's a 6 or 8 seat golf cart. I'm gonna man it, I'm gonna
Right.
run them back and forth, I'm gonna write up a proposal to them, asking them, we can't make them, but asking them, hey, would you cooperate with us and work with us on this? We're going out of our way to get a shuttle and have somebody man the shuttle, getting you to and from your car, for work and stuff like that. So my question is, can we try this and see if this has worked? Because I've got 35 cars, I've been counting every Friday, even no car show or not, I've been going up there and winning count, watching all the county employees park. About 35 cars, county employees. So what we're gonna do is we wanna go put them on the cars, hand them to them in person. If they have any questions, we're gonna go to the county board and ask their permission. Already talked to Brian Sharp today, he's all about it, he said this is gonna be great. So we're gonna hopefully alleviate all that by.
Ask their permission for what?
To park in our parking lot on that Friday of the car cruise.
Brian's gonna go to their employees and he's gonna say, we would like you to park over in this lot.
We're trying to work
and
with
we're gonna
small
shuttle
towns.
it."
And like I said, that's all great, just fill out your permit, so we have something on paper.
Yeah.
I'm sure Rocky would agree with me on this, if we're gonna require a permit, it's in the code, we do for everybody else, we just need to have their permit like everybody else. So if you wanna do your permit and put it on there 6:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, put it on there and bring it, I mean, whatever, just.
So just fill that out and then come to the next city council.
Just like with Andy, I mean, just like anything,
Normal.
you guys had one last year,
Oh, did we did?
but there was none on the books for this year.
I wonder when that was, I don't know.
Does it have to go through a council meeting or is it just a matter of?
We
going
could
something?
approve it on July 3rd, there's no committee meeting until then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, I mean, I personally am
But
only
the
one.
problem is, I don't think you really want the square blocked off from 6:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock. We're trying to appease the downtown merchants.
Right,
So we're
yeah.
gonna allow them to block the square off, and then I think our idea of removing the cones in the morning.
On the inside
especially-
lane?
Yeah, on the north side, because the hairstylists all complain,
Sure,
a lot of their,
sure.
patrons were elderly, and they can't walk. And all the courthouse people park on the outside of the lane, and that's the issue, so.
Right.
I think if we get through this, and the courthouse employees, maybe we give them some type of drawing, some type of incentive, to park off the square.
Well, I thought maybe the golf cart ride was enough incentive, but that's okay.
Well, and the west side too, because there are a couple on the west side that.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I agree, and we had an
Yeah.
issue with the east side with, what was it, Enchantments?
Yeah,
We
parking,
Enchantments.
they put their own
So-
cones out.
So I think,
It's an issue that's gonna have to be resolved anyway when we go and redo the square and make it, take away parking lots and make it, or parking spots and make it one lane, so.
And if we'd have thought about this earlier, we'd have done it earlier, like last year or something, so my apologies for not being on this sooner. But I think moving forward together, all of us and all of the county people, maybe we can make this happen. And maybe the cones won't be so much of an issue. That's what we're hoping for, so. I'll get the paperwork filled out, I'll present it, and we'll come to the next city council. But if that doesn't happen before 4th of July, do I have your permission to block off the north side this time, so that we can do this channel news, WCIA for Taylorville?
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Ordinance, approving and authorizing execution of amendment to the business district agreement by and between the city of Taylorville and Robert Steiner and Rebecca Steiner.
So moved.
Motion Alderman Bryant, second. Alderman Skoltedi, questions or comments? Roll call.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Steve Dorsones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Popetti?
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson?
Yes.
Megan Bryan?
Yes.
Diane Fare?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Motion to authorize and direct the mayor to sign vendor invoice number 227929 for airport project number TAS 84842 in the amount of $5,895.89 for professional service rendered from CMT, and forward the request to Illinois Department of Transportation for disbursement and approve payment of same pending receipt of the disbursement. Motion? Alderman Bryant, second. Alderman Bud, questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve Dorsones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Popetti?
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson?
Yes.
Megan Bryan?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. Motion to authorize and direct the mayor to sign vendor invoice number 228411 for airport project number TAS 4842 in the amount of $2,052.88 for professional services rendered from CMT and forward the request to Illinois Department of Transportation for disbursement and approve payment of same pending receipt of the disbursement. Motion by
So moved.
Alderman Dorsones, second.
Second.
Alderman Wilson, questions or comments? Roll call.
Jim Olive,
Aye.
Chris
Yeah.
Lettetti,
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve
Yes.
Dorsones.
Motion carries 6-0. Motion to approve the purchase of replacement HVAC unit number 4 from Yard Heating and Cooling for the Taylorville Fire Department building at a cost not to exceed $19,000 to be paid from the Business Development District Fund City Projects line item. Motion by Alderman Bud, second. Alderman Dorsones, questions or comments?
This is needed, correct?
Yes.
Roll call.
Chris Lettetti,
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan,
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve
Yes.
Dorsones. Jim Olive.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. City Attorney update, Rocky.
Yes, you should have received 3 emails from me today. I'm going to speak about 2 of them briefly now. The first of which is that I got a communication from the attorney from the Taylorville Sanitary District who enlightened us that he's in a lawsuit with the Taylorville Township over the ownership of some sewer lines out in Hoehnville. Apparently, this was a subject of a 2017 intergovernmental agreement with the city and the sanitary district, but not with the Taylorville Township.
2007, Rocky. The date.
I'm sorry,
The date was 2007, not
2007,
17.
what I said.
17.
2007, you're correct. Thank you. I just suggested take it to your street and sewer committee. Before that next committee, I'm going to try to reach out to both the attorney for the township and the sewer district and find out what it is that they want to do. The district sent us a letter to the mayor that they revoked the intergovernmental agreement. I don't think legally they could do that, but they did. But they said they did. But they're going to write a new agreement with with us and or with the township to get this matter resolved. So I wasn't your attorney at that time, so I'm not sure all the the background of it, but I'll find out and hopefully get you some information so you can discuss it intelligently at your street sewer committee. The next thing I want to bring up, is there any questions about that before I go on? All right, if none, then you also got an email, we're still getting close to closing out the water treatment plan with our EE. I think I shared with you an email that, for whatever reason, they're not dotting the i's, crossing the t's. We should get that hopefully by next meeting, so. The other 3 things I want to talk about, I'll wait until they come up with a motion. I gave you a pretty detailed email this morning as to what I saw on the agenda that I think raises some questions for discussion. So that concludes it there, Mr. Mayor, until we get to these motions.
Thank you. Congratulations to our 2 new firefighters, Colin, Ayers and Hoehn. Congratulations to our youth of the month, Owen. Congratulations to the Chamber of Commerce for their annual banquet held this past Friday. The Family Feud game was fun and exciting. The annual 4th of July parade will start at 10 a.m. The Vietnam veterans will be the parade marshals. Let's give them the welcome home they so richly deserve. My annual picnic will follow on the south side of the square with music provided by Taylorville's own Matthew and June Ayers. The Veterans' 5th wall will be dedicated to the memorial by the lake at 1:30 that afternoon, followed by the Optimus fireworks at dusk that evening. To honor America, we will be putting flags up this Saturday, June 24th at 9 a.m. at the cemetery. Volunteers are wanted and appreciated. We continue to cut down trees on Clay Street in hopes of new sidewalks and curbs. We are redoing the sidewalks on West Main. Brad Tullis and crew are doing a wonderful job. The project at the airport started this morning. I'd like to personally thank Alderman Bud for helping out with the budget. I appreciate all the work you have done, Mr. Bud. Thank you very much. Committee reports, discussion and/or motions to approve, adopt, and/or deny, and/or table, and/or amend, and/or refer to an appropriate committee in whole and part of matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at the committee level. Water and environmental. Alderman Bryant.
Thank you. First is a motion to recommend to the City Council to approve the quote from 120 Water at a cost not to exceed $23,000. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion with a comment.
Motion by Alderman Bryant, second. Alderman Bud, comment, Alderman Bryant.
I'm gonna, well, if you guys read the email today from Rocky, he had some questions regarding this contract, and I believe Superintendent Broom would like to address that.
Right. Superintendent Bruce.
Good evening, Rocky, it's Marlon.
Yeah, Marlon?
On your email that you sent earlier today was about the specificity of some of the services they provide that you were
Yes.
needing.
Yes.
Some of these I think that you already received, or in my view, you may have already, like what specific services are to be performed. If it doesn't, the form that sent you on the scope of work, does that not define what it is that they're going to be doing?
Actually, the document that I got from you, Marlon, there's 4 questions and answers. You always look at a document to see what happens if someone defaults. How is the court going to enforce the agreement? I wasn't at your water meeting. This is something you guys obviously want to do. I'm just suggesting that we get a little bit, this quote that we got really doesn't say when the terms start, what they're going to do. What are the rights of the parties if there's a default? What's the term of it? And you have the right to cancel if it doesn't work out? There's a number of things that we need to add into it. It may be just a simple phone call with them to, I would think, is this the only document they presented at the committee level, asking you guys to buy into this project?
We've talked to them multiple times, set through presentations with them, along with Ben Associates. He's the one that come with their recommendation. And
Did they give you a brochure or something that we can incorporate and say, okay, this is the pamphlet that you presented, that you're going to provide these services, we can make it simple?
well, I can look into that, see if they have something like that, but for specific services, that's what I'm getting at, is that I don't know if you have in front of you, the scope of work, that outlines to me what it is that they're going to do for us. The only thing that I would go on with here is on the rights of the parties to do, if anything defaults. There's nothing like that, but I think all this other stuff is included with what was sent.
Well, is this a year-to-year agreement?
Yes,
Or is it-
that's listed on the quote.
It doesn't say that in there.
On the quote it does, underneath point it says term 12 months.
Okay, so is it automatically renewed, or if we're not satisfied with the services, do we have the right not to renew it, or how does that work? That's what you typically do.
Okay.
This can be easily fixed, Marlon. I'm not here to quarrel with you. I'm just suggesting that we need to have some more specificity in it. We can go ahead and approve it tonight. I would suggest just to direct me to come up with some kind of agreement that's satisfactory to you and the mayor that we can sign.
Okay,
I
well,
just want to know what this is about. All I know from the minutes, it says lead and copper. There's a 1-sentence thing in the minutes, so I'm totally ignorant about what this project's all about. And I see it's a postcard survey from what looked like I asked for the document you gave me, is they're gonna give us some kind of a program, send out postcards to your customers who you hope would fill in information of some sort, and then you monitor it that way. Is that what this is all about?
yes, they do all the tracking on it and resubmitting and everything.
Okay, well, now you're saying tracking, so what do they do? Are they gonna, once the survey's presented to them, they're gonna come back and tell you, okay, Marlon, here's what the results of it is, and this is the program, this is what we recommend? I just don't know.
Okay. You know, I will,
If you get a brochure or something, it's obviously a program you guys wanna do, we can incorporate that marketing brochure for sure. So this is what you're gonna do, and we have the right, if you don't like what you're doing, to cancel it after a year, perhaps.
Okay.
And is these postcards, this $3,000 some odd dollar, $8,648 up front for the outboard mailer with return postcard, is that just a one-time deal? Are you gonna send out new programs to new customers on an annual basis? I don't know.
okay, I'll give you a call on this or reach out to you,
Yeah.
send you an email on it, outline, do some more information on it, but it's, you know.
Can I say
I would
something?
suggest, Council, that if you want to, just have the motion made to direct me to come up with some kind of agreement to the satisfaction of Marlon and the mayor, to get this signed and get it moving.
Okay, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to be able to look at Rocky. This is the thing that, and don't get me wrong here, because I know that you probably have all and more I's dotted and T's crossed than need to be. But I see these contracts coming in, and it's like with the solar panel people. Like, this has been like a year and a half going on. So is you looking over this contract and picking it apart and making sure that we're covered from 90 different angles gonna cost us more than the damn contract's gonna cost us?
No,
I've got a question for Marlon. If we approve this at our July 3rd meeting, will that be soon enough to give Rocky?
Yes.
So,
you want to approve the thing as it is, go for it. I mean,
Well, I think,
look at it.
I'm not speaking for the council, but I think the council wants to rely on what Rocky has to say.
And I
make sure
understand.
we are protected.
Right, but at the same time, if it's going, I'm just talking from a cost, you know, we're in budget time right now. We're talking costs, and it's like back and forth, and I'm not at all saying Rocky isn't doing exactly what he needs to do, but at the same time, it's like, okay, sometimes I think like these contracts, and maybe they do need to be tweaked, but man, we go so long and back and forth, and then it's like, what is that costing us? Maybe we shouldn't even enter into contracts then.
Well, I think we should let go for 2 weeks and approve this at the July 3rd meeting. Let Rocky and Marlon talk with the people from.
I mean, it's a damn
121.
mailer.
And I think, at least I would be more comfortable with Rocky's blessing. I'm not gonna speak for all the council members, but I think it's something that, you know, I don't know who 120 water is, no more than I don't think Marlon.
That's what, right.
And how do we get out of this contract? How do we, if they don't
Fucking
perform?
mailers, these are
If they
mailers,
don't
these are
perform-
sending out postcards. This isn't wiring up a new
I
building,
understand, but
whatever.
Alderman, how do you think? Should we get Rocky's blessing on this?
Get Rocky's blessing, spend it. I make the motion to table until our next meeting.
Motion to table, is there a second? Second.
Let me just make a brief comment, and maybe I appreciate your frustration, but I'm talking about the water treatment plant. The reason why we're trying to get this stuff to close out, these are lien waivers. These are important things that we're trying to sign off on. The second thing is also the certification that you're required by statute to prove that the Prevailing Wage Act was complied with by the water treatment plant project. That's why we're asking for those things to be done. So I think it is a worthwhile endeavor to.
Well,
make sure
and that's a bigger project.
along.
That's a bigger project. These are postcards.
I understand, okay.
All those in favor, roll call to table?
Jeremy Wilson,
Yes.
Megan Bryant,
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve
Yes.
Dorsones, Jim Mullins,
Yes.
Crystal Payne.
Yes. Motion has been tabled 6-0. Lake and Airport. Alderman Wilson, you want to take over? Alderman Brown?
Sure. Motion to recommend that the city council approve the construction of 50-foot seawall with a 12-foot by 24-foot dock at 3516 East Lake Shore Drive.
Motion.
Make that foremost.
Motion Alderman Wilson, second. Second Alderman Skoltedi. Questions or comments? Rocky, I'm sure you have a comment on this. This was part of your email.
It is, and I talked with the city clerk this afternoon. I don't think that she was at the receipt of any written application. And here again, you've got an ordinance, a very detailed ordinance that was put together that when anybody wants to do alterations to the lake shore or to put a dock, I sent you a copy of 746. You want to have the owners or the renters who want to do this job, everybody that has legal interest to sign an application which binds them to hold the city harmless if in fact something goes away, there's an accident involving what they did, whether to their guests or to their invitees. And also they have to provide a certificate of insurance that protects the city in that regards. And they have to have detailed plans and specifications so you know what it is they're going to do. It has to be at least 2 feet above the normal pool level, the seawall. And if the dock is going to go past 24 feet, I think it is, there are certain lighting requirements. I don't know if any of the, again, was not at your committee level. Haven't seen any application. I'm just trying to point out to you, this is what your ordinance requires. And I inquired, have they done it? And
received anything.
Jeffrey, have you received anything written? So I suggest we table this until we do a written application. Do I have a motion to table?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Bud to table, second. Alderman Dorsones, roll call.
Megan Bryan,
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Popetti.
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 to table. Ordinance Committee, Alderman Skoltedi.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna head Rocky off the pass and amend my motion where it says require full city council approval, and what I intend for that is to mean majority city council approval, just like any other vote, or most any other vote, not 2/3, not full, majority. So,
That's right.
motion to recommend to the city council to direct the city attorney to amend the city code to require majority city council approval for all gaming license classification. I'll make that form.
Motion, Alderman Skoltedi, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorsones, questions or comments? And Rocky, you have a comment on this, I'm sure you emailed.
Well, I gave you a detailed email, and I just need some direction, that now that you're gonna pass this, to direct me to do something. Well, basically what I was cautioning you folks is that there's 3 licenses that already require council consideration by majority vote. You know, your Class O, even allow a business to come in, and then you, for a couple of other licenses, if they're gonna have a separate enclosed room, you have some input. What I just need some direction is if all the other classes, the A1, C1, D1, I, and JI, what ascertainable standard do you want me to put in there to decide whether or not you're gonna let an individual person who qualifies under that definition to either have a license or not have a video gaming license? I just wanted to point out that you have to have something to base it on, otherwise you could get sued or a claim made that you were unequal application of the law, because if you have brokers on one hand, you deny them and you allow terrible food stores to do it, there's gonna be an issue with that. So if you have some reasonable standard to deny, then you'd be on better ground. Now, before, that was an easy fix, because you just limited the number of licenses. And that's an easy way to do that. If the issue here is to control the number of video gaming licenses in town, that's something to think about. But if you want to have just on a case-by-case basis to decide that, just give me some input, what it is that you want me to put in that ordinance that you think, that you want to look at for a basis to deny a license to a particular business.
Basis to deny a license is that
That's all I'm asking.
Basis to deny the license is the fact that one person should not make a decision on it. So what's the difference between Class O or Class A or Class C? One person, I mean, if we're doing Class O as a city council, then why is the rest of them not on there? They all should have been on there all along. And
Well,
then,
you can do that if that's what you want to do. But remember now, Class O is, we have a little bit of different, because there we're still requiring a separate enclosed room. You know, that's a business that's in a C1 or a C2 that comes before you, and but they would have to have it in a separate enclosed room. That was some of it, and also they had to get the approval for that separate enclosed room by the Illinois Gaming Board, so that we think would pass muster perhaps. If you have a restaurant to come in and, or a tavern to have it, there's no requirement for a separate enclosed room there, so how would you, say no to that person?
we have enough.
I have a question.
I
How
can mull that one if you want.
how are we not getting sued now then on the ones that we have to vote on? Because we just vote in a majority vote for those.
I believe we've approved every one.
Okay, so we start not approving. So let's say it doesn't get a
I
vote.
think we open ourselves up for a lawsuit.
So even on the ones we already have to vote for, we're opening up.
So if you're
I
saying,
think so.
if you're saying that, then why can't you just approve anything you want?
Well, the way the ordinance states now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rocky, I can approve an A1, a C1, or bowling alley, or things like that. The only ones that takes, council approval is the O and the M and the N. But if you remember, with, Spring Garden, when they applied, I could have approved that by myself, but I didn't take it upon myself to approve that. We got council approval, and it was a 5-4 vote. So, I think we do not want to limit the amount of taverns, like Mr. Bud has brought up. What if One East wants one with the brewery? What if Jack's on Main? What if different ones want it? And we've already reached that limit.
What if I want one in my garage?
Well, that would be voted on.
I would come.
And are you just passing? No, because if you deny me, I'm gonna sue you.
No,
Because you're afraid to sue me.
You're not in the C1 or
The city, I
C2
mean,
area.
We settled,
we
every time
have
the city's been
different
sued in the last
limitations
year,
on
we
that.
settled out of that. I mean,
Your garage would be in an R1 area. And we have that in the ordinance, correct, Rocky? It has to be in a C1 or C2.
Let's just put a casino out.
It's gotta be a
Let's,
C1 or C2.
let's put a casino out in the industrial complex. I mean, nobody's gonna be happy until we get to that point anyway.
There's towns that are begging for the casino lot.
I'm sure they are, and then the way we're going in this town, that's the way we're
But
gonna
even,
end up.
even with the mayor being able to approve them or not approve them on his own, we still could be set up for liability. I mean,
Well, he's
no
not-
offense,
he's not
but
bound.
you kind of get in those
Well,
positions, and if you're saying, no, I don't like you, and yep, I like you.
If any establishment comes in under, meet the definition of an A1, a tavern, or a restaurant, C1, or a club, D1, or an I1 group pub, or a class J1 bowling alley, the mayor's gonna have to issue that license. And because, you don't have a limit as to the number. So as to those classes, the way your code's written now, if I come in there and I meet one of those definitions, and, you know, I got a liquor license, and now I wanna get a video gaming license, they wanna pay the fee, I don't think the mayor's got the discretion to deny it at that point. The way it's written right now.
It's really crazy that he has the power to.
That's what I'm trying to change, is to limit the powers that I
I
got.
can say, you know, all these licenses require the majority vote of the city council before they're renewed or issued initially. And then I'm just saying, if we do that, that's okay, if you don't wanna limit the number of licenses, you just went on a case by case. We've gotta come up with some kind of a reasonable ascertainable standard as to a reason why we could deny it.
But we don't have one of those now. That's what I'm trying to say.
We got one place you can game for every 10 people who live here. And what point is the ratio not enough?
We have on the M and N and the O. O has to be C1, C2. You gotta have a separate enclosed room according to the specification that you guys approved from time to time. That's all you can really approve. I mean, if they wanna come in and get an M license, or, you know, you only got one convenience store, you limit that for M, that you've done that. You only get one, and it has to be in a separate enclosed room that you folks decide to approve what that's gonna consist of. As far as the M, that's your grocery stores, that if they come in and all you've left is you decide whether or not they're gonna have a separate enclosed room, where it's gonna be cut off, what's the size of it, so on and so forth. And as far as the O, as I mentioned, that's only for a C1, C2, and again, you have the separate enclosed room, so you're talking about the, you know, the specifications for each room, so you've got something to rely upon to say, this is why we're not gonna let you build this unless you build this room the way we want it to be built.
Right, and then they do, and then you're saying
We
we
can't
have
close
to
them up.
give it to them or we'll get sued. If they comply,
No, you can, no, as to M, N, and O, you still have the control as to, it's the whether or not you're gonna approve that room or not.
right, so,
The room size is especially gonna be different for each establishment, okay? We're not gonna have the same size room for business size.
No,
But
but
but as for the rest of them, if you want to control the number of them, then you can limit it, the number, what we did before, but that was taken away some time ago. And if you want me to say, okay, then all these K1s have to come back to the city for a majority vote, that's fine, I can draw that up. But I just suggesting when we do that, give me some input, what you're looking for as to a reason why you might deny it, and I'll play with the language and come up with some kind of a standard to maybe address that.
the reason it might be denied is because there's not a majority vote, just like there could be right now with MOKYP whatevers. All I'm saying is I feel like the whole, we could get sued by saying the city has to approve them is kind of a scapegoat, because we can get sued right now. We could get sued if CART says, yep, this grocery store can have one, and nope, this grocery store can't. We could get sued no matter what. We do get sued. So I feel like that's just a scapegoat when all we're trying to say is, hey, from now on, make all of the gaming license just like the other three where they have to come get a majority vote.
I can do that, but I think, what I'm trying to suggest in a tactful way is the mayor does not have the discretion to deny a video gaming license if it meets the definition for the A1, C1, B1, I1. If he denies it, then yeah, he's gonna subject the city to a suit.
But
The way it's written right now,
but I'm sorry, Rocky, if
Like I said,
they,
if you guys want an ordinance to say all licenses have to require majority vote of the city council, I can draft that. I just need some
Draft it.
hint from you folks as to, are you trying to control the number, or are you trying to control the type, or whatever it is? And I'll play with the language, try to come up with something that you can.
We're trying to control the mayor.
If we get an issue with that, that's what I'm suggesting.
I mean, no offense, Carp, but I think that's the whole thing behind this, is so you don't go rogue and just give out a bunch of
I've never
licenses.
given a liquor license or gaming
And
license
I'm-
out without council.
And I am not saying you have at all. I'm just saying, I think
But
this.
I also think that Taylorville Food Center has a gaming license. I showed you a letter last meeting at our committee meeting that Kroger
Mhm.
was talking about getting
Mhm.
one,
Mhm.
okay? I think Rocky would agree with this. We gave one to Taylorville Food Center, we have to almost give one to Kroger. No more difference than say Jack's on Main, Greeny's had a liquor license. I would hope, and I know there's council members that vote against them all the time, but I would think if somebody's putting $500,000 or $1 million into our town and wanted a liquor license, that this council would approve it.
Rick, so I guess, I feel like this is
And-
going in total
like-
circles
I
and it
brought
should
up-
not
I
be.
brought up Spring Garden, they were a C1 classification, a restaurant with alcohol, right? And I brought that to the council to vote on, I didn't have to do that.
So Rocky, right now, let's say one of the ones, just give me one real quick that has to take council approval. B4, okay, let's just say, has to come before the council for approval. The council, it does not pass. What do we use as our excuse then?
say Class O, we all know the Class O has to come up.
Class O comes before us, it gets voted down, then what is our excuse for voting it down? Right now, as it stands.
I looked in my email, I said, in my email, I still have a concern about the way that the Class O is, but we put something in there to say, we had 3 things that it had to qualify. It had to be the C1 or C2. Okay, so C1, C2 comes before you. It has to be approved by the Illinois Gaming Board that they're gonna allow it to be in a separate enclosed room. And then really what you had is, you would come up with what specifications, what's the size, where is it located, what are the hours, all that kind of stuff for a separate enclosed room. That's how you kind of control that. And if they say, well, we can't do that, then you can say, well, this is what we say we want to have for the betterment of our constituents, we want it to be separate or far, blah, blah, blah.
I think we can all agree
Now, if you're gonna do that for each one of them, like I said, I'll write something. I just need to know what it is that you're wanting to, at the end of the day, are you wanting to limit the number? Or are you wanting to say only certain establishments that you want to, so many establishments in a given block? Or, in certain neighborhoods, I can come up with something to give you something to hang your hat on, if that's what the kind of control you're wanting.
Rocky, just to make it simple, what we talked, the way we discussed it at the ordinance committee meeting the other night was that
Sure.
we wanted, as a committee, we wanted every application for a gaming license to come before the council. Period. That's what came out of it.
Okay, and I could draw that up, okay, see, but what criteria would you deny a video gaming license?
Not a majority. Don't have a vote.
Well,
Well, for
Is
me
that-
personally, Rocky, I just, and this is for me personally, the reason I vote no is I think we have enough, so maybe it is referring to your number. Now, I don't have a set number that says we should only have 40 in Taylorville, or 35, or whatever it is. That's just how I vote. But that's how we discussed it the other night at the meeting. We didn't talk anything about specifics of size of room or differences in the different types of alcohol liquor licenses that are allowed to have gaming licenses.
Well, maybe, maybe the easiest way to do this is to go back to a number, okay, as a limit of licenses. And then if someone comes before you, let's say you've got 10 licenses and someone, number 11 comes before you, then you could decide whether or not you want to increase that number to 11. And that kind of gets, you have a control over the number. And that's a lot easier thing to defend against than trying to say, nah, I don't like your business, or, I just don't, I don't like what you sell, something like that.
No offense, but if Leroy comes to me when I vote no and asks me why, I'm gonna tell him honestly because I don't lie. He's gonna say, why did you vote no, Chris? I'm gonna say, because we got enough.
And
There's too much gaming in this town. Every time you turn around, it's in your
That
face.
makes sense. That's
this
what
might
you-
surprise you, but I think we have enough also, but I also wanna be able to open it up in case the brewery at One East wants to come in. I think they should be allowed gaming. If Florinda's a long-established restaurant wants to have gaming, I think they should have the right to do that.
You can't say that and say the same thing, you think we have enough.
The answer is that you freeze the number what it is now, and then we say, for this particular classification, this is the number you're only gonna have. And then if a new business comes to town, or they wanna do something, then they come before you and ask since you want us to be admitted to add another number. And then that's where you got that input, you got the vote.
That sounds good to me. I
I mean, that's a better way to do it, I think, from a legal standpoint. But still, I think accomplishes those thoughts of you who think that there's enough liquor and video gaming licenses in town, and that's one way to control it that way.
I vote to table this for tonight, 'cause I'm tired of friggin' talking about it.
I second it.
Motion to table by Alderman Skoltedi, second Alderman Bryant. Roll
Well,
call.
you guys table all these motions.
Roll
here.
call.
No, you don't, Rocky.
Larry Bud,
Oh, that's what he's sitting there doing.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Steve Dorsones,
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yeah.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Marlon, if you can hear me, give me a call tomorrow, we'll get this worked out.
He's at the game
I will do
tomorrow.
so.
Motion carries.
He's at the grocery store. She's like,
Finance Committee, Alderman Bell.
Thank you. The first motion to recommend the city council approve the annual insurance renewal premium of $29,818 for cyber and pollution insurance from Diamond Brothers. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Bryant, questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Next motion, recommend the city council approve the Business Development District Number 1 redevelopment agreement for the property located at 920 East Park Street in the amount of $5,000. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Bryant, questions or comments? Roll call.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
The next motion, recommend the city council approve the Business Development District Number 1 redevelopment agreement property located at 124 South Main in the amount of $2,967.50. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorsones, questions or comments? Roll call.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
The next motion, recommend the city council approve the Business Development District Number 1 redevelopment agreement property located at 123 South Washington in the amount of $7,750.41. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Wilson, questions or comments? Roll call.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Next, recommend the city council approve the Business Development District Number 1 redevelopment agreement for the property located at 1324 East Park Street in the amount of $3,668.91.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Bryant, questions or comments? Roll call.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Steve Dorsones.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Chris Teddy.
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Next motion, recommend the city council approve the Business Development District Number 1 redevelopment agreement for the property located at 101 South Cherokee Street in the amount of $36,303.22. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Skoltedi, questions or comments? Roll call.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Steve Dorsones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Skoltedi?
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson?
Yes.
Megan Bryan?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
And the final one, recommend the city council approve the treasurer's report as presented. Make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Dorsones, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve or ratify payment of bills in new amount $252,557.34. Motion by Alderman Bud, second.
Second.
Alderman Bryant, questions or comments? Comment, Alderman Bud.
Comment, we're pulling the bill to Kaylee Boston. There's an error of $192.64 on that. We talked to the chief about it, and he's fine with it, so that bill is being paid till that gets corrected. Otherwise, electric, $22,624.90. Fuel, $15,158.21. Insurance, $4,675.27. Garbage, $2,091.96. Farm and Home, Ace, Rollins, Urban, and Kroger, $2,524.23. U.S. Bank, $6,335.70. CTI, $5,158.81. Altorfer, $5,941.97. Neil Tire, $3,642.03. Furls Ag Management, $10,484.70. Meyer, Austin, Romano, $6,480. Quadrant Finance, $1,000. Quality Elevator, $1,400. Price Science, $1,165.19. United Capital Funding, $13,447.71. Travelers, $2,379.87. BDD, downtowntaylor.org, $4,150.65. Florinda, $1,029.33. Heartland Development, $16,375. Star Electric, $50,000. Taylorville Food, $1,875. Fire Department, Springfield Overhead Door, $2,500. Street Department, CCI, $6,281. Bill Tullis, $17,194.31. Robert Skinner, $3,900. Sewer Department, EJ Equipment, $4,946.04. MFT, Nokomis Quarry, $1,248.42. Water Department, Midwest Meter, $1,406.85. Miller Plumbing, $2,440.48. Tedeschi Trees, $1,500. Ricky Peters, $2,861. Rollitt Brothers, $2,461.54, and these all total to $224,684.17.
Are we not paying that $11,000 restocking bill yet?
No. I said at the meeting the other night that was supposed to.
I really think we should pay that.
Huh?
I really think we should pay that and not be in bad standing with one of our big friends.
Was it in our bills?
He pulled it.
Pulled it last Thursday.
Because Jamie's working on getting,
It wasn't part of our bills, so I don't think we could pay it tonight.
well,
We can
But you
bring
could
it up
on July 3rd.
July 3rd. All right, roll call.
Steve Dorsones?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Chris Skoltedi?
Yes.
Jeremy Wilson?
Yes.
Megan Bryan?
yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0. First subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. The Illinois Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/1 mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and or committee meeting. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Anyone else like to address the council?
Yes, sir, I just have a question.
Oh.
Chief Wheeler?
Wait, is that serious?
No, it's not that first.
Oh.
No, in July, sir, we're gonna have a Fun Day Sunday. It's for the Special Olympics. And there's gonna be food trucks lined up, and most of the proceeds are gonna go to the Special Olympics. I just need to know about permits for each food truck, how much they are.
$25 for 1 day food truck permit, $100 $100 for the whole year.
Okay, so they just paid
Some of them may have paid the $100. Some of them may have already paid the $100 for the whole year. Food
Okay.
trucks, so make sure there's 25 for one day. And what Sunday is it?
It's in the middle of the month, and it's gonna be, we're gonna have, a lot of people are gonna show up. We're gonna have games and all that across the street at, Open Lot.
Maybe
Yeah,
put it,
where we all,
may put it on one of the committee meetings and see if we would waive the permit for the food trucks for that event.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Something that may happen.
I like that. First thing tonight.
So, all right, anyone else like to address?
oh, no, one more comment too.
Alright.
No, Mr. Bud made a good point tonight, is, I guess Mr. Bud might be leaving in July, I just wanna say this. One thing about Mr. Bud is, he pulled that bill, okay, but he caught something that was wrong.
Right.
And I think having two eyes, you know, he questions me on a lot of my bills, and we talked over. But it's a compliment kind of where I think whoever takes over that position, we should have second eyes on all these bills, because he did just save the city actually like $250 for that. And it was our mistake. I did find out the culprit who did it, but still, we should have two eyes on the bills.
All right.
Just a comment.
So you're giving Mr. Bud accolades after I just.
Well, no, I'm just, I don't, yeah,
The rest of us just eat shit, you know.
All right, anyone else like to address?
That's it, it worked for you.
All right, motion for approval.
So moved.
Alderman Bryant, second, Alderman Wilson, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is, 802.